Here goes. If you've got a dream, an adventurous scheme to climb a mountain or build a fountain, just make a plan. Step 1, 2, and step 3. It can be that easy. But if your world dance doesn't seem to prance, it's all going wrong when writing your song. Just change your...
You know, we've gone through a bit about getting your head in the right place and getting yourself ready to do the diet, but are you using the right strategy or the right motivation? In the other video I asked you, did you know what you want? And I left you with that question really of what you want, because I said a lot of my clients, they spend half their time working on what they don't want rather than what they want. And believe it or not, this is a strategy. This is a mechanism to doing diets that we all get lost in, we all get confused by. And let's face it, who actually goes on a diet going, I'm going to use this strategy, I'm going to, we don't do that, not unless you come and see me or you ever saw Lawrence or anyone else who works like this. But I'm a strategist at heart, and even though I didn't realize I was using strategies, I was using strategies, and they were not necessarily the right strategies for me to succeed in my dieting history. Now, what do I mean by that? I did every diet under the sun. Every single diet under the sun. And the thing with every single diet under the sun, be it all the ones this one that I use or whatever, if you are using the wrong motivation and the wrong strategy, it won't work. None of them will work. Or, to put a positive spin on that, if you're using the right strategy and the right motivation, they all will work. I get asked all the time, why do I use Cambridge Weight Plan? It's because I think it absolutely has a place in the market. I know that a lot of people says, it don't work, you pull your weight back on, and all that stuff, but the actual truth of it is it works. It absolutely works. You have to change as well, mind, and you have to do a lot more than just take the magic powder and that's it. But that relies on the strategy you're using, I guess. People ask me all the time, how have I managed to keep my weight, under control? Well, it's because I have strategies and motivation every single day. I have minutely goals, hourly goals, daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, 5-yearly goals, 10-yearly goals, and so on. And you shouldn't outrun your goals. And that's not to say don't be excited when you've achieved the result, but you shouldn't outrun them. And that's also not saying don't be happy with what you've got, because the truth is like I'm a big believer in living in your now. Okay, because we can't live in the past, although we try, and we can't live in the future.
To the future! Back to the future! Back to the future!
Back to the future.
Back to the future! 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 Back to the future!
Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future. Back to the future.
You're thinking, well, you've just said you need to have goals all the time, which is a future-based event, right? And I agree with that. You should always have something you're working towards. But that's not saying when you achieve that goal that you shouldn't celebrate it and be happy. Now, if when I said just then you shouldn't celebrate it, the first thing in your head was, well, celebrate it by going out and having something to eat and drink and blah, blah, blah.
За здоровье! Чин-чин! Чокнемся!
That's not what I mean either. Okay? Now, the reason I say you can't live in your past or your future is because, for example, when you get to your future, what is it? It's your now. And if you're constantly sort of living in your future, that when it comes to you hitting that target or whatever it might be, when it gets here, you'll be like, still looking forward and not appreciating what you've got. Now, the problem I have with people who live in their past is what they do is if you've got a shitty past, right, and you project that shitty past onto your future, and I've just said to you, when you get to your future, it is your now, what you're going to have all the time. You're going to have shitty now all the time. So what you need to do is focus on your now and enjoy all the good that comes in your now, and focus on the good things that's happening in your now, so much so that when you get to your future but you're focusing on your now, try and keep up, that will be good too. And then your now of yesterday will be your what? Your history. So, and if you keep doing that and you keep focusing on your now today, you will have a long, and you keep enjoying your now of today, you will have a long history of great nows. So your past will look good too, won't it? And then if you want to reminisce, that's great, and project, well, I did this and it was brilliant, onto your future, so that you can then keep moving forward and enjoying your now every single day. Life will be pretty good. And that's what needs to happen. So just keep focusing on your now. But that doesn't mean to say don't have goals, but make sure they're towards driven goals. Now, what do I mean by a towards driven goal? Well, my opinion and what I learned was that there's 3 strategies of getting slim. Okay, there's an away from, a towards, and a combination. Now, I did a bit of a combination, but I'll come back to that in a minute. What most people do when they diet, okay, is they work on an away from strategy without even realizing it. Because who gets on a diet, like I said, who gets on a diet and says, right, I'm going to work on an away from strategy today? That's not how it works, right? Most people, I say to them, what do you want? And they say, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to die, I don't want to feel like crap. Okay, but what do you want? I've just told you. No, you haven't. You give me a long list of the things you don't want, which I said in the last video. But this is the key. If, for example, me, every diet I ever did before the last one that I did, when I was 22 stone, okay, so this is the time I did the diet before I was successful, okay? I was 22 stone. I even did Cambridge Weight Plan, okay? A lot of people don't know this about me, but I did Cambridge Weight Plan twice before I succeeded at it. So, and that might be a shock, all right? But this is the way it went, okay? I was 22 stone. My remit in my head was to get away from 22 stone, right? So I don't want to be 22 stone. Who wants to be 22 stone? So I was like, I don't want to be 22 stone. Sod that. So my job in my head was to just get away from 22 stone. So if you look at it this way, right? If you're in the jungle and all of a sudden a lion comes out from the trees and it's pretty damn close to you, at that point, your fear is going to be massive, right? So it's a bit like that with motivation. At 22 stone, my fear of being 22 stone, my anger of being 22 stone, my resentment of being 22 stone, whatever you want to call it, was massive. It was as big as the fear of the lion, if you stood next to a lion. But then the problem with that is, when you start running away from the line, which is a stupid thing to do because, let's face it, you ain't going to outrun a lion. But let's just say you run, right? And you're heading towards the truck that's going to get you out of there. Okay? The further you get away from the lion, right? When you're sort of coming up to the truck, you're a bit further away from the lion. Your fear is slightly less. There's still quite a lot because there's a friggin' lion at the end of the day, right? But then you get in the back of the truck, and as the truck starts pulling away, and you put more distance between you and the lion, you start to feel a little easier with it, but you still think, oh, Jesus, that was bad. By the time you get to the bar in the evening, right, and you're telling everybody about how you smacked a lion in the mouth, and dealt with it, your fear is how big? Because you're far enough away from the lion. So what's my point? At 22 stone, in my head, I wanted to get away from being 22 stone. Now I dropped 4 stone, right? So that took me down to 18 stone. At that point at 18 stone, even though I was still a chubster, right? At that point at 18 stone, I was a fair amount away from 22, which was my remit in my head. I wanted to get away from 22 stone. So what I did in that point was like, in my case, I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'm not in that much pain anymore. I haven't got that much fear about it. You know, I'm doing this. This is cool. So a pint won't hurt this weekend, will it? I'll have a beer, right? And what I'll do is I'll have a beer Friday, and you know we'll get through the weekend and that, and it'll all be right. I'll get back on Monday because I've got all this 4 stones worth of evidence that it works when you do it, right? I've got all that evidence that it actually works. So I go out Friday, Saturday, having a drink and a laugh with me mates and that. Monday comes round, I'm like, right, I feel a bit, put on a bit of weight and whatever, but I still don't feel as bad as I did at 22 stone. So I'm like, this is all right. And then it's like, oh, hang on a minute, it's Harry's birthday on Thursday. What I'll do is I'll watch what I eat, because that's worked for me. I'll watch what I eat, and then Thursday I'll get back on it Friday. Okay, because it takes 4 days to get into ketosis and all that stuff. So there's no point me ruining that 4 days, right? And then on the Thursday, and I feel better than I did. So I'll do that. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you don't really watch what you eat because you don't know what the hell you're doing with that anyway, or else you wouldn't be fat in the first place. And you know you're going to go back on this crazy diet, don't you, on the Friday. So you have a bit of a blowout, and then you go out, you enjoy Harry's birthday, do that. Friday, you get up, right, and you're like, yeah, well, I feel bigger again, you know, but who starts a freaking diet on Friday? That's crazy, right? And you still feel better than you did at 22 stone. All right, I might be 20 stone, but I still feel better than I did at 20 stone. But it's like, and it goes round and round, and you keep doing that, and you keep rational lying to yourself that you still feel better than you did, 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 until you end up where? Bush. And I ended up 23 stone. Because I put on an extra stone, and it's like, oh, and then it was like, I need to get back on that diet because I feel this much shit now. And when you feel really shit, your motivation is quite big. And this was pointed out to me, you know, and that's what yo-yo dieting is I feel shit enough to kick myself up the ass to get away from the pain, and then you get to a certain point and you relax and you chill out a little bit and you go back to old ways because you feel better and everything else, and then you end up feeling shit again, and then you got to kick yourself up the ass, and then you go again, and it's like, constant backwards and forwards, which just does your head in. So what I try to do with my clients now, okay, now you can't see this room, but there's a door just over there, right? And then the other side of that door is the corridor out to the main reception, and then out the other side of the reception is a car park, and then out of the car park is iBridge, right? So for me, what I try to do with my clients now is say to them, right, I need you to get a towards strategy. Now, what I want you to do is, if the door's where you want to be, right, if that's your goal weight, right, what I need you to do is focus on what's going on in the corridor. And why do I need you to focus on what's going on in the corridor? Now, you can't see my door, like I said, but you can't see in my office, and I can't see out and see what's going on in the corridor. So if I get really curious about what's going on in the corridor, and I focus intently on that, then to get up out of this seat, walk across the room, pull the handle of the door, and see what's going on in the corridor, that bit's easy. because I'm just focused intently on what's going on in the corridor. I'm not doing this. I'm looking beyond the goal weight or the dream job or the relationship or whatever your goal may be. You need to focus on past it, and what is that goal weight going to enable you to do? Now, for me, I had a massive, I cut a long story short. When I was a kid, I played football to quite a successful level, and I had to give up because I had a collapsed lung, and I never played again for 25 years, I think it was. And I can remember when I won the Slimmer of the Year, one of the things I said was I want to play football again. And I do play football again now, regularly. My head was like, right, I want to get 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. If I could do 10 minutes, and feel what that's like again, that'd be brilliant. Still did that. And it was like, right, 25 minutes. If I can get 25 minutes in, and I did that. Can I get a half in? Yeah, I did that. Can I get a full game, a full 90 minutes of football? Can I do that? Did that. Then it was like, can I be a regular in the team? Did that. Then it was like, right, can I be a significant member of the team? Did that. And now I'm captain of the football team. And is that because I'm the best player? No, not necessarily. But I am captain of the football team, and it means something. It means a massive amount to me. And it's like, where am I going? Where am I going? Like, because once you get in the corridor, I need you to focus on what's going on in reception. And then when you get to the reception, I need you to focus on what's going on in the car park. And when you get to the car park, I need you to focus on what's going on in Highbridge. And beyond, and beyond. So you always need to, where am I going? Where am I going with this? Or else, for example, I had a girl come and see me and she said, I've got a towards strategy, mate. So I went, brilliant, what is it? She went, I'm getting married next June. I went, brilliant, great. What is it about that's important? She went, I'm getting married, you prick. I was like, I get that. But be specific. What is it about that day that is going to pull you to it? And she said, well, the dress, the photographs. I went, right, great, stop a minute. Be more specific. What is it about being in that dress and those photos that is going to really drag you there? And she said, look, I don't want to be fat on my wedding day. I went, okay. Is that towards or is that an away from? Now for me, it's an away from, because she's like, I don't want to be fat on my wedding day. Okay, so she's projected into the future a view of, I don't want to look back at that day and that event and be fat. Now, she might be successful at dropping weight and getting into the dress. And I said to her, the problem here is what happens after your honeymoon? And she went, what do you mean? I said, well, you got into the dress, you've got the pictures that you can have forever to look back on. Where is your motivation then to stay slim? And she was like, oh, fuck. Well, won't I just want to? I would have dropped like 10 stone. Won't I just want to stay slim? And I was like, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. We think if we drop an unbelievable amount of weight, and anybody that's dropped an unbelievable amount of weight and put it all back on will confirm this. You think that doing the diet and dropping the weight is enough. Because you'll just want to protect that, won't you? No, not if your head is going, and I'm telling you this for now, if you focus on things, I have this saying, where your focus goes, your energy flows. If when you drop weight, you panic about, I don't want to be fat again. Guess what? You will be. And that's not because I'm an asshole. That's because if you're focusing on all the things you can't eat, all the things you can't do, blah, 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 in order to stay slim, if you're focusing on all those negative things, you're going to be thinking about food all day. You're going to be thinking about what you can't do all day. And that will make you go and do those things. Because do you like to be told no? I certainly don't. People say to me, oh God, you've got amazing willpower. I don't agree with that. I obviously did a journey, and I still do. But that's because I have a strategy or strategies. It's not because I have amazing willpower, because willpower is good to get you going. It doesn't keep you going. It's not sustainable. Because actually, willpower used the wrong way can screw you up. And what do I mean by that? Right, you get 2 kids, right? And I love kids. I love watching kids and learning from kids. I always say to people, if you want to get the answer to all your life's problems, go and ask the 9-year-old. They'll tell you straight. I love it. They haven't quite inbuilt that filter in yet. Things, I shouldn't say that, right? But kids are brilliant, right? You get 2 young kids, and one's sort of mild-mannered, and the other is like strong-willed. And you say you got 2 bars of chocolate, and you go, right, you can't have these. Now, the mild-mannered one will eventually go, that's not for me, go and do something else. The one with the willpower will not only eat his and his, it'll eat you if you get in a frigging way, because we don't like to be told no. I went to war with that word when I was a kid. You know, because it was all like, no, you can't. And followed up by, no, you're already putting on weight. No, you're already too big. You know, so I filled up my life full of the word yes. Which you might think, oh, that's positive. What's the matter with that, Mitch? It's not positive if it's, yes, I'll do what the fuck I like, or yes, I'll eat what the fuck I like. So you got to get in your head where you're going and why you're going there. And then what you're going to do when you're past it, and you need to keep doing that. So I don't agree with willpower will get you to where you want to be. So, strategy-wise, I used a bit of a combination, okay? I initially, this is being honest, I initially got on the diet going, I don't want to be a fat fucker. That was the truth. But sometime during the process, I turned it around and went, because I learned this. And I thought, right, actually, it's not about me not being fat anymore. It's about me being slim. It's about me being fit. It's about me being healthy. It's about me wearing those clothes. It's about me going to these events and doing these things. It's about boom, da-doom, da-doom, da-doom. So it's not that you know, if you started your diet plan and you've been working on, you know, I don't want to be that, I don't want to be that, because that is a big motivator. You know, a lot of millionaires come from slums because they go, my kids and, you know, my wife is not going to have the life that I had. The problem there is when they get £1 million, they go, whew, and they stop doing all the things that made them a millionaire, and guess what? They lose it, and they go, oh shit, we're in the shit again, and then they get their motivation back. Actually, you know, what should happen is, right, because you get these little rituals every day, and with the Cambridge diet, right, you need little rituals every day. And anybody who's done the Cambridge diet with me or not with me, and who has been successful and then put weight on, I challenge this, right? Look back at your journey where you were successful and look at the little rituals that you did every day. Be it like, this is when I have my packs, this is how I do the water, whatever. You had little rituals every day that you did. Okay, now any one of those rituals, if you stop doing any one of those little rituals, you're not going to end up at this point because you're doing something different. So look back and say, right, I did this every day. And this is what gets me. It's like someone does something every day. They behave a certain way every day, which makes them successful. And then when they get successful, they stop doing the little rituals every day. Why'd you do that? If that's what made you successful. Don't stop doing the things that got you there. But that is because you've got a away from mentality. It's not that you wanted to be successful, it's that you wanted to get away from being unsuccessful. Because if you want to carry on being successful, you would still keep doing the things that made you successful, right? And on the diet, if something got you slim, and I don't mean keep running back to Soul Source, I mean the little rituals that you found every day. So on step 1, what did you do? Right, do that, bang. Leave that behind, move forward to step 2. Little rituals you did there. Leave that behind, move on to step 3. And the little rituals that did that got you successful. The problem is you don't get that far because you do step 1 all the way to your goal weight, or you do step 1 till you feel better than you did, and then you stop until you put some weight back on, and then you panic and do Soul Source again. And you might think that what I should like that because I'm a consultant. You keep coming through my door and spending money. That's not what I like. It's not what I want for you. I want you to go all the way through the plan and prove that it works. Now, why? Because the more of you are out there that are slim still after doing this plan, okay, and you're all out there talking about how it worked for you and how you're still slim 5 years down the line, the more people will do this plan. And it's as simple as that. Looking at the bigger picture and longevity of Cambridge Weight Plan as a diet in this place, that's hugely important that it has its place. But it's hugely important that we prove that it actually does work. But you have to go all the way through it and change and have these things that keep you moving forward. Another important thing to remember here as well is being aware whether you are thinking towards driven or away from driven. Now, you can consciously think, I'm working towards, I'm doing it towards. But subconsciously, or on some level, you're thinking about what you don't want and working on away from. Now, an example, I just spoke to a lady, an amazing lady, client of mine, who is having a bit of an issue with the steps process at the moment. Now, she said that she wants to be toned. And I said, can I ask a pertinent question? I said, is it that you want to be toned or you don't want to be flabby? What is it that's going on in your head? And she said, no, I really do want to be toned. And I said, okay, that's great, but why do you want to be toned? What is it about being toned that you want? And she was like, oh, actually, that's a really good question. Because listen, it's simple, isn't it? Why wouldn't you want to be toned? Okay? But the truth of it is, on a subconscious level, what you're saying is, I want to be toned because I don't want to be flabby. I want to be toned because, it looks better. So on a subconscious level, even unbeknown to your conscious mind, you're saying, it's because I don't want to be flabby. I don't have skin. I don't want to feel, like people are looking. So language is massively important, and that is what I'm going to do the next video about, because language is hugely important. The language we use externally, but really more importantly, the language we use inwardly to ourselves. So it's really important that you get in touch with yourself subconsciously to see what actually you're telling yourself. When I won Slimmer of the Year, I was still on plan. If my job was to win Slimmer of the Year in my head, then at that point I would have stopped, wouldn't I? Yeah, it's the truth. Because it was like, and even people there, they were trying to buy me drink and stuff, and I was like, I'm still on plan. I haven't been through the steps yet. And they're like, yeah, but you've done it, you won. I didn't do it for a piece of glass. I did it because, for many reasons, but one was to be slim, learn how to keep it off, play football, and do all these things, which at this point, when I lifted this particular piece of glass, that I hadn't done those other things when I'd won this. So I'm not saying this didn't mean a lot to me, because it did, still does. That can never be taken away from me. 2012, I was Cambridge's Slimmer of the Year. And I did it in all honesty, I did it for my coach. Because I wanted him to get the recognition he deserved. And I walked into his office, or waddled into his office at 23 stone at that point, and I said, stick me in for that Slimmer of the Year. And he went, let's see how we go. I was like, no, I'll win it for you. Now, people have said that this is arrogant. It wasn't. It was just my focus was so intent on winning this for him. I said, no, I will win it for you. Trust me on that. I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes. And he went, well, yeah, we'll see close to the time. And Sharon said to him, Lawrence, do it. He means it. Look at him. Look in his eyes. He means it. And that is how strong focus will be. Now, don't get me wrong, listen, there are hundreds of people that have dropped a load of weight in the same year as me and deserve to win it as much as me, you know, but I was hell-bent and focused. And that's, don't get me wrong, I'm not an idiot. I don't think, you know, you can go out in the garden, for example. I heard Tony Robbins say this. You can't go out in the garden and go, there is no weeds, because guess what? If you do that, there'll be freaking weeds. But what you can do is focus on, I'm going to plant seeds and then I'm going to water those seeds and they will grow into flowers, and I still need to keep watering them and I still need to keep pruning them so that they stay as flowers. So it is hugely important that you have the right strategy and the right motivation. Anyway, I said at the beginning of this, I was going to try and keep these videos short, and they're all about 20 odd minutes. So I'm going to end on strategies with this. There are different strategies of doing the water and things, which Lawrence has already done a video about how to do the water. If you're a Cambridge person watching this, go and find Lawrence's videos about how to do the water and how to make products, because the man's a legend and made Cambridge exciting for me by watching his videos. So if you want, you know, how to make the key lime pie the best way, if you want to know how to do the water, so you get your 4 litres in the easiest way, do it. Go and find his Don't Open the Box video, because that one, I can remember watching that whilst I was doing my journey, and I was watching it in the middle of the night under my duvet, because my partner was asleep at the time, and that bit where the box jumped open, I laughed out loud and woke her up. Yeah, the man was a legend. So it's a legend, still is a legend, and will be forevermore. And he made Cambridge exciting for me, and I hope that these videos that I'm doing for you guys on these subjects will help and help you see things a little clearer. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Just change the plan. Change the plan. Your scheme of a dream may come true.